wabarakatuh. This article summary for extensive reading 2022. My name is Nayla Rizqiyah in class Frode, Department of English Education State Islamic University of Hidayatullah, Jakarta. Some article that I have tried to discuss about learning, which consists of implementation of activity-based learning, social ritual, and academic achievement, improving student learning with effective learning techniques, a systematic review of research on the limited learning methods, student approach to learning. The power of teaching learning environments to influence student learning, developing assessment instrument on writing on descriptive paragraph. The upper section of the spoken sentence, reading writing to improve the student research method and methodology. So the first, the implementation of activity-based learning. ABI methods has created a visible improvement in children's learning and psychology. The main purpose, article social psychology of children. In a written article, it was written that the authors made to investigate cross-sectional and attestational effect of social ritual and academic educational achievement from elementary school through high school, and to examine the potential effect of gender, because social ritual is rooted in a variety of causes ranging from a compulsive desire to be alone to coping social inhibition. So the discussion article in general is an analysis of childhood, a golden period in which the learning process can take place effectively. The research and observers identified that some students did not participate well in doing the activity because the lesson were delivered incomplete. This is analysis data research results. You can see picture analysis data research results. The chart provides information that the average of student oral performance on the first cycle is 59, 71, and it increased up to 20 points after the ABE implementation. The research results show that almost all student experience has an improvement in oral performance. The highest achievement in the first cycle was 90, and the lowest was 20. Meanwhile, in the second cycle, the lowest was 45, and the highest was 100. Only a 5% the student remain steady. In terms of minimum criteria of achievement, 70 set by the school, almost 60% of the students did not meet the minimum criteria of achievement in the first cycle. However, it decreased dramatically to 18% after the second cycle due to the use of bahasa for some parts, such as difficult words they are not familiar with. The two, social ritual and academic achievement research 1959, P02, RMCEA 029, CRMR 034, CVI 992, TLAI 982. At the between person level, children with higher II manifested less as we are 95%. CI 49 to 19. At the within person level, no significant perspective correlate association were detected between II and SV. All the three improving student learning with effective learning techniques. The research aim of the article is to improve student learning, not only by showing which technique is likely to have the most generalizable effect, but also by encouraging research to continue investigating the most promising technique. So this is analysis that one might expect final test performance to vary as a function of the quality of the explanation generated during study. However, the evidence is mixed, where some studies have found that test performance is better following adequate elaborative interrogation response. Those that include a precise, plausible, or accurate explanation for a fact. Then, for inadequate response, the difference have often been small, and other studies have failed to find difference, although the numerical trends are usually in the anticipated direction. A somewhat more consistent finding is that performance is better following an adequate response than no response. Although in this case, the results are somewhat mixed, more generally, the available evidence should be interpreted with caution, given the outcomes are based on conditional of analysis that likely reflect item selection effects. Thus, the extent to which elaborative interrogation effects depend on the quality of the elaboration generated in still on open question. Or a systematic review of research on the repeat learning method. The research objectives of this article are to describe the current stage of knowledge and practice in the flipped learning approach in engineering education and to provide evidence for practitioners by critically appraising and summarizing existing research. The results indicate the flipped learning gained popularity amongst engineering educators after 2012. Third, adopts a range of data collection methods to evaluate flipped learning. Quantitative methods involve comparison of exam scores, surveys, course evaluation, institutional data, and system log data. Use of qualitative data such as interviews, classroom recording, and observation was rather limited. a detailed discussion of the evaluation methods adopted in the study can be found as supporting information. The 5 approach to learning. The main purpose. The present study focus on analyzing combination of approach to learning among undergraduate students in different disciplines, more precisely in 10 different faculties of a multidisciplinary university. The first aim is to cluster the students on the basis of their scores on different items measuring approach to learning, and to explore the relationship between the resulting cluster and the faculties represented. 6. The power of teaching learning environments to influence student learning. So the main purpose, evidence of disciplinary variation in student approach to learning. Furthermore, previous research has shown that student approaches are related to their perception of the learning environment. This analysis data. Cluster 1 turned out to be the most typical for students in the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine and Law. Earlier results concerning studying in these faculties suggest the same. The curriculum in the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine has traditionally been school-like, with a preset timetable, study plan, and course overload. Thus, the students need to be organized and strategic in their studying in order to get through all the obligatory course. Organized studying is also required in the Faculty of Law, in which the whole degree program is based on dependent study. Law students therefore need good self-regulation and study skills. Interestingly, these two faculties differ the most in terms of experience of the teaching learning environment. This difference may be due to the students' different role as learners. Those in the Faculty of Law are clearly responsible for their own learning and studying, whereas those in Faculty of Veterinary Medicine rely heavily on teacher and the curriculum. The 7. Developing assessment instrument or writing on descriptive paragraph. The main purpose this study uses an instrument development method that follow the design by Jemari Mardavi. 10 steps must be followed in developing the instrument. The development steps are taken areas following. 1. The determination of instrument specification. 2. Write instrument. 3. Determine instrument scope. 4. Determine assessment system. 5. Review instrument. 6. Conduct product trials. 7. Analyze trials result. 8. Revision. 9. Instrument assembly and refinement. 10. Evaluation of all instruments. Is it on the results of research and discussion that have been carried out the following conclusions are obtained. The instrument sits in the form of content validity and contract validity indicator developed through expert. States that the writing assessment instrument in descriptive paragraph based on results that can be relied upon for use in studied in the moderate to high category 1 and 4. Moreover, writing and assessment instrument in descriptive paragraph material for 7th graders is appropriate because this meets the requirements in the aspect of content validity, content validity, reliability, and file testing. Suggestion for research who want to do similarly research. The upper section of the spoken sentence. Verbal medicine language is limited to the part whose verbal symbols play a short representative of Hebrew ID and English. Treatment of the language belongs to the reader, then logic and epistemology, then psychology. Thought employed in the first two determination was based upon the psychophysical principle we have already laid down. A word is normally a definite complex of various sounds which we call consonants and vowels. As we have seen, the consonant variation are modal change conditioned by the difference from an adjustment and release of the vocal organs. The vowel variants are qualitative modification of the laryngeal lungs. The consonant always involves a vowel. Hence, if we vary the consonant, we also vary the vowels or midtones involved with the elision of consonants and a determination of the accompanying effect of the words upon the observer. In order to determine the relation of the psychophysical factor to the central factor, the first and primary problem. A. Mutilate words were given without context. B. Mutilate words were given with a minimum of context, with one or two realized words. C. Mutilate words were placed at the beginning of complete sentence. D. Mutilate words were placed in the middle of complete sentence. And E. Mutilate words were placed in the end of complete sentence. In order to determine a value of the symbolic element as compared to another, the relation of the objective factor to one another, the second problem, the effect of the various forms of mutilation upon the perception on the word by the observer were complete. In this case, the words were used with and without context. The temporal condition being varied by deleting consonant. A. At the beginning of the word. B. In the middle of the word. C. At the end of the word. We did writing to improve the study. The main purpose writing is considered the most difficult and complicated language skill to be learned compared to other languages. Noonan claimed that learning to write fluently and expressively is the most difficult of four language skills for all students, whether it is for first, second, or foreign language studies. Noonan highlighted that the most difficult thing to do in learning a foreign language is probably in producing a coherent, fluent, and extended writing. This is analysis data. With deep writing can overcome the problem in the teaching of writing font and MTS Almuna Samarinda. It was found that in preliminary study there were 13 students, 50% who achieved minimum passing grade, and there were 13 students, 50% of the students who did not pass the minimum passing grade. The highest score was 18 and the lowest score was 15. In cycle 1, there were 15 students, 16% who exhibit minimum passing grade, and there were 10 students, 36% of the students who did not pass the minimum passing grade. The highest score was 18 and the lowest score was 55. The cycle was not successful because it did not reach the criteria of success. 70 in cycle 2, there were 22 students, 79% who exceeded minimum passing grade, and there were 6 students, 21% of the students who did not pass the minimum passing grade. The highest score was 90 and the lowest score was 60. This cycle was successful because it reset the criteria of success, class, research results, and methodology. The main purpose, according to data charity, ordinary research is carried out continuously on a daily basis by everybody in the form of making decisions concerning daily living. As consumers research the best as only to shop, the best tourist destination to go to, among other things, to ponder and make decisions on sharp research. Search is a process of investigation of the journey of discovery, moving from the known to the realm of the unknown in order to establish the truth or to prove a phenomenon valid or invalid, or to enable serious scrutiny of something which has been conjectured or surmised as an improven idea in the form of a proposition, assumption, hypothesis, or an adaptation or intimation of something which is vague in outline. In academics, research can take many forms such as pure theoretical research, applied research, exploratory off-ground research, explanatory research, quantitative research, qualitative research, empirical research, desk research, field research, and mixed research, or triangulation, among many other methods of research. Thompson and Walker aver that research involves eclectic and multidisciplinary approach because of convergence of knowledge, practicality of research, overarching of knowledge, and the need of reflective. Sorry if there are words and writings that are wrong. I'm sorry. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.